So hello ma'am, here's the video explanation for my laboratory number 4, and now I'm just going to do some demonstration of the working code. So first I'm just going to compile the code, then I'm gonna execute it. So the input that I'm gonna place here are just some of the example input that I've seen in the activity guide. So I'm gonna enter number 5, then the number of shifts would be 1. As could be seen, it's the output is working is fine. So I'm just gonna enter another one. So I'm gonna enter 10, and then number of shifts will be 2. So I think it's working fine. So that would be for the working demonstration. Now for the explanation of the code. So here it is. Here is my code. So over here, and the first parts are just some of the usual segment in an assembly code. For the .data file are just some initialized memory for storing data on the messages. So here are the prompt 1, and the shift left message. This message, this will be used later for the printing of the output. These messages here are just similar to the examples presented in the activity file. And then over here are for the .bss segment are just reserved memory spaces. Here I've reserved memory and labeled it as num for the inputted number by the user. For the shift, how many shifts the user desires, and here for the output for the shift left value, and then here for the shift right value. And that's for the .bss segment. And then now for this .text segment where all instructions are written. So first over here is just the some setup routine that I followed based on the author of the book. And then next over here is just printing instructions for printing. And here it will take the prompt. It will take EAX will take the prompt, and then it will print it, which is the enter a number, and then after that the program will read the user's input, and then that input will be stored in the num memory space that I've reserved. And then after that the program will print out another prompt for entering the number of places to shift, and then it will read the inputted numbers to be shifted, and then it will be stored to the shifts labeled in the reserved memory, and that shifts will be stored in the CL register, since the CL register will be responsible later on during the operations, during the shifting operations, since it is used when the number as the basis for how many shifts will take place. And now for the shift left code, here it is. First I moved the inputted number to the EAX register, and then I shifted EAX by what's in CL, and then after that, after shifting, the value will be stored to the shift left value, to the reserved memory space. And then after that are just some printing instructions over here. Here the num will be stored in the EX register. It will print the inputted number, and then after that it will print this for the shifting message to signify shifting left. Then it will print number of shifts, and then after that it will print the output of the shift left operation, which is stored in the shift left value memory space. And then after that it will just print a new line. So that this part here is for the shifting left, and then this part here is for the shifting right. Basically, some of the methods are almost similar, but this time it's just going to be the shift right as seen here. So same thing happens here. Number inputted will be stored in the EX register since it changed, the value of the EX register changed earlier, and then the CL register over here will be the basis for how many shifts to the right it will take, and then the result of the shifting will be stored to the shift right value, and then after that it will just print the number inputted, the symbol for signifying shifting right, and then the number of shifts inputted by the user, and then the output of the shifting operation, the value of it will be printed, and then new line will be printed, and then after that it's just going to exit the code, and this instruction here is just a routine from the author that I'm following from the book. And that would be all for my laboratory number 4.